Well, young acolytes. It's not 90 years, it's just 30 years as a failed psyker. Defined ready. We're using a lot of. So yeah, I have here old man Jeremiah. He's just a completely normal man. Ignore his lack of hair. Yes, that's a psyker sanctioning brand. Normal. Nothing wrong there. It's just a hardworking uh, merchant that grew in a very weird ship. But that happens sometimes, so you might have some uh, kind of different views on things. But it happens. He saw some stuff on his life, and eventually he got psychic powers, and the very reasonable captain of his ship decided that no, fuck off, I don't want to deal with another feud. Inquisition is already on my ass. Get thrown to them. And then he sadly ended up joining the Inquisition. He, he was on the he was one of the docks people. That's why he has a knowledge trade. No, a trade merchant. He was just he worked there like, oh, the rogue trader docked. He wants us to buy food, okay? Quartermaster, here is the reports of the Sector 5 of the docks. That's the price of food they are selling there. Things like that. Yes. So yeah, Oh, it was glorious. He saw it through light. His hair fell off after that. At the end, for some reason, they decided that maybe this one is not Emperor Fu to this day, and was sent to work for the Inquisition. Uh, and during his work in the Inquisition, he always tried to, due to his past experiences on rogue tradership, he already knew somewhat what was the real danger for the Empire. Because working in the dock, sometimes you see some different kind of traders get in contact with the rogue trader. Sometimes they are blue, sometimes they are purple. So like that, these guys are kind of chill. Sometimes they're not that big of an issue, but other times the rogue trader logs a section of the ship, and the rumors are of foul creatures of the warp appear there. So that is a real issue. So I always try to, well, if I'm working here, might as well try to deal with the bigger threat. Okay. Yeah, it's on this, I don't want to say that it's on this intermediate period, like even during the questions, that they for sure need to know if he's a fucking psycho or not. He always showed interest of yes, yes, let's fight for the good of the empire and get rid of the heretics and corruption on it. Yes, that's the good goal. Instead of oh yeah, I really hate Xenos. It will focus more on the that's yes, but he personally he doesn't seem that much of an issue with them. He met some of them. They're kind of cool. No, I think it's better he's for a short time. Like, how the fuck a psyker for a long time would live to his 50s? Nah, that's unreasonable. Once a month, really. Just think about it. You just need 2 months to fuck it up and die. Yeah, but he's a new one. Yeah, yeah. He always showed himself a very studied man. So he's decently smart. So teaches us on. Maybe like he can do something useful. He was already a trader, so has some not useful knowledge. And he might already know a thing or two that you shouldn't know about the warp. Yeah, exactly. Oh, back on his prime, he used to be a half-decent swordsman. It decay a bit with age. Yeah. Chris, yeah, I think you're silent for the stream.
Yes, sir. Dead.
Yeah, Redderm is safe today.
Testing. Okay, thank fuck. I fucking hate Windows so fucking much. Anyway, this is session 0 for those of you who haven't realized. We're doing a new campaign called Cindaran Ghost Hunt. Fuck, I need to reiterate what I was talking about bacon stuff, so... Right, Psyker went to Terra. I'm so busy adding flavor details as well. Jesus Christ, this throws you off, doesn't it?
Oh, I guess it's time for you to abandon Windows and just use Arch Linux, like a real man.
Okay, let's... Is there anything I need to add? I think you covered most of it. So, you're freshly baked psyker, you did the rogue stint at the Rogue Trader, then they discovered that you're, holy shit, wait, no, this guy's actually psychic. You know, when the Rogue Trader bothered to test once in 50 years, while the ship was undergoing major repairs or something, he was like, okay, just sign this paper from the head astropath, they might as well, we're not doing anything else. Got sent to Terra, got sanctioned, got sent to Malphite for assignment, and the Inquisitor scooped you up. And the first mission was, honestly, I don't think he was doing much of anything except kind of watching you. And like, you had a feeling that you were being watched while you were doing this. This was kind of an evaluating assignment. But what he had you doing was just walk around in given areas, public places, nice and safe, often with like a bodyguard, like a hired hand with you, and just see if you pick up psychic activity. Just passively listening to see if there are any disturbances and reporting back if you found anything.
Yeah. He's trained in Psynicians. It's 30 on the road, that's not bad. He might actually pick something up.
Yeah, just, you know, tripwire in case major demonic incursion. My lord, the psyker started sprouting horns, so I executed him. Good, we have our quarry. But, okay. And then Well, Dan is new to the system, so I think we're gonna go with Nyaxi next, in case Dan is coming up with new ideas or needs more time to think.
Just
I think
like
I
me
agree,
and
but yeah.
make everything up as you speak.
Yeah, but that's what you do when you've been role-playing for like 10 years.
I think it was my theater classes when I was 5.
Oh, I hated when we did theater in high school. Oh, that guy was so pretentious.
That's just what theater makes people be like.
Yes.
I mean, it's this like attitude of, we're gonna just throw some confusing shit at the audience, and they'll all take their own message from it, and we'll look so fucking clever. Like that shit just like stuck in my throat. I remember it to this day. But Nyaxi, tell us about your character.
Okay, she was like a theater kid, but then she grew up to...
No! Don't you fucking dare! Don't you fucking dare! The Inquisitor is not that radical. He would never recruit a theater kid!
Okay, but yeah, okay, so in reality, really what I was thinking, that originally she was like born to a minor noble family on an agri world, and she really enjoyed it there. And she was like academically gifted, she was pretty physically fit in her youth, and then she was married off to some nobles on the nearby hive world. And, she never got over the culture shock. Then her husband, who was like 30 years older, died later. And she had her 2 kids, the hive world sucks ass, even if you're rich. And she had bad influences, other nobles that were kind of semi-heretical.
Yeah, you're definitely from Malphite. Like that's your adapted role plan. No, you're describing moving to Malphite.
And then so over time she got kind of dragged into, being part of a recidivist group, of terrorists.
Does not compute. On Malphite you can't tell the difference.
And, got a little heretical until they were all, caught and cleaned out. But because she was, pretty fit, kind of good with a sword, pretty maybe, once, she was mind cleansed, and she is like a sneaky weapon.
Okay. Yeah, no. The Inquisitor was undertaking purges on Malphite to clean out cults, and maybe you were connected to something darker than just some, light blood sport for fun and profit to keep your widowed life interesting. And, yeah, I'm gonna say that you weren't deeply into heresy, per se. But you were part of an organization that was the pawns of a hardcore cult, right? And the Inquisitor was like, oh, this could be useful. So he just, had your brain erased. And, implanted you with the usual safeguards to ensure that there weren't any problems in the future. And took you along. So, since you were mind cleansed and freshly programmed, and you're sneaky, I think a lot of your duties were shadowing various operatives who were put in precarious positions. So, you have seen maybe 4 or 5 different low-level acolytes, about half of which you had to kill. Which were embed this novice cleric into a cult. See if he's showing signs of going bad. Okay, he's not handling the deep cover. Snip him.
Yeah, some people just can't handle it.
And I will say that among them, you have once or twice been the one discreetly trailing our psyker friend to see if he manifests signs of corruption walking in certain areas. Like if he can't handle being vaguely in the presence of demons, like if the sanctioning failed for whatever reason, or if he just reaches for, like, you know, sources of vast psychic power in the area and gets possessed because he's a moron, that sort of thing. And yeah, and now you're on your way to Sindar by way of Vaxenide, along with the surviving Acolytes. And yes, I don't think we necessarily need to establish which agri-world you are from, because I don't think it really matters that much, unless you have one in particular which you would like to be from.
No, I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Does MindCleanse say, like, the Inquisitor decides what to leave, right?
Well, I mean, I have failsafe controls and stuff like that. I'm conditioned. I think most of it is just completely wiped, though. But let's crack open and double check.
Starting with Jaded is so good.
Yeah, there's certainly an upside. Wait, it's the wrong folder. Second edition.
That is a based nickname, by the way, Dan. So fitting.
Multiple ways, yes.
Yeah, people, Minecraft's army remade in the image of the Inquisition's desire, complete with whatever implanted skills or personality traits are required, perhaps along with a reconditioned psyche and a new face to go with it. They may also be programmed with implanted memories of events and people that never were, or with deep-rooted mental commands they have no choice but to obey when the time comes.
You know? Alright, he doesn't want you to remember your original identity. But you will remember, like, something vaguely similar to your, like, early life, where you were growing up, like, on a remote world, like, you know, being outside your, like, being more skilled than that kind of life would dictate, right? And I think instead of getting married to a hive noble, it would be a case of having, like, not necessarily run away, but like petitioning the ecclesiarchy to be taken into the emperor's service and released from the control of your parents, and then being sent to like an assassin school and being like fanatically loyal. Just, you know, having gone through that almost monastic upbringing to train for the emperor's service in this particular way. Does that work for you?
Yep.
Okay? And if all goes well, you don't need to ever know that you were a fucking heretic. Yeah, and yeah, any children you had, by the way, they're getting sent to the orphan school. You will never see them again.
I wished I had children.
Exactly. Okay. And Dan.
Alright, we've got Severus Kane. He's another Voidborn. He was born on a Navy ship, though, this time, and he's got the nickname Stubbs because mostly he's a manlet. And he also uses a stub gun.
Okay.
He enlisted at the young age, that kind of thing. His family was killed in a Carson incursion. He was recruited during a joint operation between the Navy and the Inquisition.
Well, with the way it works with arbitrators, right, is they kind of don't overlap with the Navy.
Okay.
So the way it works is you go train as an arbitrator, and then they send you to a world that is different from the one you were born on anyway, so you are not sympathetic to any bullshit that is going on around you.
Well, yeah, essentially it's not anyway. It has backstory. Yeah, he's against all the heretical activities and traitors. He demonstrated loyalty by killing some cult leaders, I believe, and resisted corruption. And essentially, that's how he's got the Inquisitor's trust.
Okay, let's refine that. So, your parents getting killed during like a fight with chaos vessels. That makes sense. I like that. I think that could be a good, like, triggering event for you to go like, you know what, maybe the Navy life isn't for me. I'm gonna go planetside and shoot assholes there instead. And then you could, like, essentially, leave the ship and go into arbitrator training.
Okay.
And my suggestion is that you have been stationed on Vaccinide, and maybe you're the good cop who saw his superiors get involved with things, and you're one of the survivors of that particular precinct of arbitrators erupting into like a small civil war to clean out the bad cops. How does that sound to you?
That sounds fine to me.
Okay. So, yeah, you will have been picked up after essentially you and a group of other good cops were like, oh, shit is starting to go bad. We need to clean this out. And like you actually beat the Inquisitor to pulling the trigger on it because you had no idea that an Inquisitor was about to descend and clean that shit out. And you get swept up in his wake and carried off towards Cindaran. So, one more detail for everyone. I think we've covered why the Inquisitor trusts you, but we need to cover what he has promised you in return. I think for Stubbs, it's probably vengeance against the forces that have fucked over your parents, fucked over all your buddies in the precinct, and in general been ruining your life. For Leith, who is fanatically loyal, a chance to serve the Emperor and earn his favor, of course. What about old man Jeremiah? What is a fitting promise to get you fully on board? Chance to learn? A chance to murder the enemies of the Emperor?
What makes him full on board with Inquisition?
Yeah.
I mean, discontinued life. I don't want to be Emperor food, please.
So it's fear. You have been recruited and you will serve, because that's what psychers are for.
He knows what the other option is.
Okay. Then I think as part of this, I will allow each of you one roll that you think is appropriate to discover something more about what is going on for lore dumps. We are not going to apply critical fails to this. This is just a chance to get something a little bit extra that you might not otherwise immediately know. So feel free to suggest what you think is an appropriate roll.
I only have one appropriate roll. That is the best roll ever. Forbidden Lore Warp.
You may roll that.
Alright, flat, no modifiers. I actually got it.
Okay. So you were sensing like a warp disturbance when you were on Vaccinite at one point, shortly before the Inquisitor was like, we are done here, we need to leave. And it felt like some sort of a powerful psychic effect that was being done with the aid of something in the warp.
Right, so yeah, that's probably some demons planning an incursion. Might be the third Black Crusade if we are too fucked. Well, actually third. Fuck, how you say 13 in positions?
13th?
13th? English so retarded. Yeah, the 13th Black Crusade, right? That was the last one that destroyed Cadia.
Yeah. But this is not widespread. This is like something that happened on the planet and then quieted down.
Oh. Good,
Like,
I'm
it's
out
not
of
the
there.
stars splitting apart and the gods speaking out. It's okay, someone opened a hole and then it closed up again.
Okay, so there's...
It's like a localized thing of some kind.
Oh, of course I would note that to the Inquisitor after I detect it.
Okay. He will submit the written record into his archives and continue on his way. Leith, what about you? Is there something you wish to or can roll to perhaps get a detail or two about what is going on?
I'm wondering about it. I have a lot of mostly practical skills.
I mean, it can be something as simple as awareness.
Okay, what about intimidate?
How would you use intimidate? Just shake and act like, what were you doing? Inquisitor steps out behind you. It seems it's wearing off. Leith, it's time for your session.
And then awareness works too. I was just wondering, since it seemed like
No,
another
you
spell where you
can.
might...
Maybe you are, for some reason, trying to beat information out of a cultist. I don't know, right?
I'm not sure, let's try. Watch me roll. Oh, actually not that bad.
Okay.
Oh no, mate, I think there's something wrong with the macro.
Yeah, it thinks it's a success because it's not a full degree of failure. Well, there's definitely something weird going on with the cultists because he just gibbers incoherently at you. And Stubbs.
I think I'll make a general inquiry roll, I guess.
Just asking around.
Oh, it's the first net 100 of the
I
of the
did
game.
say we would ignore crit fails.
Yeah, but we
if we-
should still toast to it.
Yeah, it's a nice way to begin. Welcome to Dark Heresy, Dan. You would be proper fucked.
And
Like
that
this?
shall not be the first of many.
Yeah, no, if you are on your own doing inquiry against a cult, that's a... you think you haven't found anyone when someone asks you to step outside into the back alley and you find yourself face to face with 3 cultists. And have to fight your way out. Like that's the degree to which 100 would fuck you.
Damn.
Okay. So, it takes you maybe a couple weeks to clean shit up on Vaccinide. And then you're on your way to Cindar. So, something I mentioned that you should consider. Like, the Inquisitor travels light. He's on his way chasing a lead. He needs to be able to move without a big train of baggage and relatively incognito. And he does not have a personal starship equipped with stealth fields and the like. He's not that high ranking. So, what are 3 advantages that he brings with him? And these can be almost anything. Either way, he's gonna have like a baseline amount of equipment and resources at his disposal, and he always has he always has like the authority of the Rosette, so he can always take the risk of commandeering resources from the locals. But what is it that he has available that's actually, you know, like a meaningful advantage to not just yourself, but to the whole Inquisitors, like the whole organization he has put together? And this can be anything. This can be like a set of inquisitorial safe houses. This can be a stealth gunship. This can be a teleportarium. This can be a library of like Maleficarum tomes. Like, this is your chance to go like, I would like my branch of the Inquisition to have this, in case I ever get into trouble and they deem me worthy of being rescued or aided.
Well, I guess something fair, considering our branch of work, would be an occult library.
Maybe. I definitely want I definitely kind of favorizing the safe houses.
Oh, 3 things, like occult library, safe houses, and what else is very useful that he would have.
High-end medical equipment, like a portable hospital.
Maybe.
Stealth gunship would be hecka useful for traveling around the planet for drop-off.
I can only drive cars, I don't know about you guys.
Well, no, like, there are
with
other
pilots,
cells
so-
with him, and like, it's more like you have a transport that drops you off near rather than you having to figure out, like, okay, our Our zone is 500 kilometers from the capital. How do?
Transportation could be useful. Like insider contacts. Also, I think could be useful.
Like a pre-existing network of informants?
Yeah.
Yes, that could be a thing, but you would need to choose like a branch of the local power structures that are pre-infiltrated. The atomic will not be hidden under the governor's mansion, but if you want your third option to be a tactical nuclear warhead, that is an acceptable pick.
And I think transporter contacts are probably better.
Yeah, having to transport a nuke into the target zone on the back of a mule doesn't really work very well. But like, if you want the option to just blow up the governor, like, you're the Inquisition. A mid-ranking Inquisitor having a nuke just in case is not out of the question. Okay, but the safe houses and the occult library we want.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're already on the mid-ranking of the radical scale because he's kept a bunch of books instead of destroying them. Good to know.
And if he hasn't read them back to back and knows what's in there, how does he know that they are heretical? And, this in his
The
right.
Inquisition has a list of books that are all essentially like, destroy without opening. There's a list, a very long list, Nyaxi. This was in the core book.
But consider this: what if, like, a
Yeah,
terrorist leader, he puts like the title of a forbidden book on his diary, and then it's never read. So he has to make sure.
Also, like, he doesn't have those books on the list. You can clearly see on the very new book binding that the title is different.
There's probably ways to identify them. But no, you're 100% right. Of course, heretical tomes will often be masked so they don't look heretical. If you had like mind wipe equipment that you were carrying with you, you could grab targets, interrogate them, and put them back very easily.
True.
Alternatively, something like a extra large pile of cash like the Inquisitor is just a very well supplied monetarily is also an option. Or, again, like maybe he's well supplied with guns. Maybe he has an armory he squirrels away somewhere, like a shipping container full of weaponry and armor. Another thing that can be an advantage is like maybe there's just like a couple of squads of ordinary soldiers that can be called on for emergencies.
From all these things, I'm giving preference. I think the transportation might be more useful. Like, yeah, we have guns, but we can't get to the places.
Okay. I will say on Sindar, guns are, especially in the capital, guns are gonna be very available. Like it's a large city, which is a +20 on the availability rolls, and I'm gonna add a +10 on top of that for reasons.
Reasons. I love reasons.
We'll go into that. That's gonna be part of your briefing materials.
I love briefings.
Of course you do. Briefings are Holy Communion with the God Emperor, where you receive the next set of divine orders.
The only thing better than a briefing is a debriefing.
It's almost like a culmination of a mission. Stubbs is like, ugh, paperwork. Okay, so we're leaning towards the stealth gunship.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
think
sure on the author's opinion, but the planet looks big.
You're just very low down. AI likes to make mountains oversized when you ask for a view from space, honestly. This was the least ridiculous one I could find. Okay. So, stealth gunship, occult, library, and what was the third one?
We have safe houses.
Safe houses.
Right. I'm gonna add a handout of inquisitorial stuff. So since it's a gunship, it's probably not gonna stand up to like a dedicated fighter craft, but it's essentially like a stealth Valkyrie type vessel. So there's a back area where you can load troops. It can climb into low orbit with some effort. Probably like a front gun, like a multi-laser, and then 2 side guns. Probably something suitably imperial, like heavy bolters. You know, in the side turrets. So it's like a reasonable amount of firepower. For when you want to put the boot in, or the Inquisitor rather wants to put the boot in and make a point. Network of safe houses. Some of them are just gonna be like abandoned places that are secured and made to look like derelict and impossible to enter. Others are places that you give operatives code words, that sort of thing, and you're not necessarily going to be in direct contact with the Inquisitor the whole time, but you are going to have like your primary safe house where you're supposed to stay, and you're going to have a backup one that you can escape to. That's literally how Feral World regiments work. And yeah, I think that's reasonable. So make sure that you note this down. I'm gonna be right back. Discuss among yourselves. You're gonna have a chance to ask the Inquisitor questions. Don't ask anything too stupid, because I'm running a mental tally of what the Inquisitor thinks of you, and these are some of the first impressions. And yeah, there's a chance that like you won't meet him face to face necessarily every session, right? So I'll be right back. Discuss among yourselves, do your thing.
Huh.
My extension is broken. I can't make a good token. So sad. I remove this. Save. And I finish. No. Wrong thing. To here. Okay. Doesn't have a token. So if I update. No. For fuck's sake.
We need to get like both of you to pay us so you can do stealth undercover missions.
Great. I'm lagging on my camera again.
Yes.
I
I
see.
guess I would.
You're just posting memes.
Well, I was just
try-
saying, you know, since they're both bald, we should get them to pay us for undercover missions.
Yeah, that's so shit. I fucking Roll20. They had the ability of users editing their tokens, but they don't allow to put attributes on the tokens. Just you have to manually set them. Can't connect to anything on the sheet.
Okay. Jesus, that. I see that the Exterminatus has started. Okay, I guess this is going to be taking place during the transit to Sindar aboard a probably the transport ship. This probably is just like a chartist route that's transporting tides and what little trade is happening between planets. And you are given some... well, first of all, you are put together for the first time, and then you're given like a set of briefings, general information on the planet, the culture, what you can expect to find here. And in the handouts I've given like a short overview of the most pertinent stuff.
Which handout?
Oh, we'll go through them one by one because like if I dump all of these on you at once, you're gonna be like, I'm not gonna read all this. I need to trick you and sneak them in gradually.
What to think about? We love reading handouts.
Okay.
I love so much that I'm in a game with Radomir.
But we will move to the local section of the planetary map I made. And I think we go through locations first. So first off, we have the Dawn Citadel. Also, the palace of the planetary governor. So, like, the palace shares the name with the city. It's that kind of a pretentious piece of shit that rules this place. This is the main spaceport of the planet. And, like, there's a section on... like, not a lot of industrial activity actually happens in this place. It's a transit hub and a cultural seat. So we have a very strong ecclesiarchy presence. We have shipping, mainly using the waterways. And we have the spaceport, the headquarters of the governor's personal troops, that sort of thing. And you can read through the handout. There's even a reasonably sized middle class by our standards, because all those ecclesiarchy and nobility need someone to make all those statues of them. And, you know, it's... unlike a lot of imperial places, it's not all just labor and despair and horror.
And that looks like a good place, better than my country. They have a middle class. Impressive.
Indeed. I mean, then you are going to love the Copper Mountains because that's that's where all the mines are. I will briefly show you the planetary map. The Copper Mountains are why this is classified as a mining world. It's a huge mountainous area which has multiple rivers, being created by it. So the rivers, like you can see them start in the foothills on a map this size, but assume that there are many smaller tributaries that are in the mountains themselves, and that provides a very convenient way for the transit up and down these riverways to supply the mines and extract the materials. And I will make the Copper Mountains handout visible to everyone. Look at how wonderful a picture the AI gave me.
I guess they mine copper here.
They mine everything here. The rock looks copperish in the sunlight. That's what they're named for.
So it's green?
No, it's actual copper color. Like, if it was actual copper being mined here, the mountains would be green and they would be the Green Mountains, Bacon. How do you not understand this?
Disappointing.
I know, right? But yes, like, a lot of the mines are absolute shitholes. But there are some that are, like, there's a wide range, right? There are mines where it's pure convict labor and people are sent off to die. There are mines that are high-tech facilities run by mechanicum servitors and tech priests. And this is not the only city on the planet, right? But this is where you're starting, so I haven't... Like, I'm not gonna place icons that we're not gonna use all over the planet for no real reason, because that's kind of retarded. I'm gonna put stuff down as it becomes useful and necessary. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay.
No.
Then we have, I think, Gulmore River and surroundings is the one we need to look at next. We'll go back to the local map. That is an area a couple of hundred kilometers. Well, let's check how far it is. It's a fair distance because maps are large. Yeah, it's nearly 2,000 kilometers to the west, and it's the original planetary capital. The thing is, this world being on the edge of Imperium, and you know how it is with the Imperium. The fuckers tried to secede about 1,000 years ago. And there is this strange red moss that grows in a lot of places. Here in particular, it's a very bad infestation. And it also happens to coincide with a lot of old trench lines, abandoned or half-destroyed military equipment. So the whole area is effectively abandoned, except for scavengers and looters who try to make a living off of grabbing guns, tank engines, whatever they can carry off and refurbish. And at the same time, we have the ruins of Octus, or Solomon's Folly, which was effectively some parts of the planet didn't rebel, and this was the old capital. It got taken into a ring of steel and slowly ground down, so it's the remnants of a city that is horribly infested with this strange moss. And at the same time, the moss is somewhat hazardous to people's health. So this is also the area where you have the most desperate scavengers, because it's the richest finds that haven't been, grabbed yet, but at the same time it's one of the most dangerous areas. Any questions about this so far? I'm doing a very brief summary.
Are we being deployed? Please tell me we're not being deployed into the moss zone.
I mean, you're probably gonna go to the moss zone eventually, right? Like, the SD would not place something like this down without it being a plan to have you interact with it, right?
Oh yeah, okay, this is Chekhov's moss.
Yeah, the only question would be what are the effects of this moss? Like how toxic it is.
I have a separate handout for this that describes it. I will share it now. So you spend enough time or get unlucky when interacting with it, you become one of the blood blighted. Now the one upside is it does not jump from person to person, but without a high-tech medical facility, you are fucked. This thing grows under your skin, eventually your skin bursts open and you die from the loss of vital fluids, and somewhere between the first source opening and you dying, you go mad, like completely fucking bonkers crazy. And if it's bad enough that the sores are starting to break open, you're probably beyond any help. Like the locals, of course, especially since there's large ecclesiarchy presence and you've been digging around in shadowed places where the Emperor's light does not reach as easily, well, you've been cursed by the Emperor, and you need to seek redemption by doing service to his loyal servants. So you have this large underclass of people who are largely homeless, who are desperate to earn their way back into the Emperor's good graces by offering aid to anyone who seems worthy of it in terms of faith. Of course, that's probably not gonna help that much. Well, I think Bacon might actually be reading.
I read everything you posted now.
Okay. So does that answer your questions about how this shit works?
Yes, it's bad. Don't go there. Noted.
Keep in mind, this is like the worst area, right? This is the site of, like, the Golmore River. That's the site of the heaviest battles of retaking this planet. There's places where there's old trench lines or battle sites or places where there's at least traces of moss. All over the planet, it's scattered all over. People know not to fuck with it, generally, because, probably it's cursed by the Emperor, but I think it's probably a sign of the Emperor's displeasure, so don't go there anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the Mechanicus facility, which is located at the place where two major rivers are relatively close, like between two river basins. And they're refining rare materials there and dumping the waste into the toxic jungle where life is stunted, frail, mutated, and twisted. And the advanced auspex units make a strange clicking sound when you go there. Once upon a time, there were I think I said 5 or 6 Mechanicus facilities, like major enclaves on the planet, and the dream was to gradually creep in and establish enough influence that the Imperium would be like, okay, we need to recognize this is now Forge World. We lost this one. It's Mechanicus. But whatever happened during the secession, not all the tech priests were on board, or some of them had their own plans, or like maybe there was a schism that happened at the same time for whatever reason. They also fought among themselves, and eventually most of those enclaves got leveled, except for this one, which is still standing.
Interesting. What are the factions of the tech priests that are on this place? Like,
That is...
there's the machine boys, the medical boys. Which ones there were?
You would have to assume that these are probably like the hardcore industrial ones, but it's not easy to know because the Adeptus Mechanicus are deeply apolitical. They're isolationist except for providing economic services.
Right.
So they'll arrive in a city, they'll have like a magos and a couple apprentices, couple of sorters. They'll be like, I'm renting this building, this will be my Medicaid facility. This is the list of services you can get if you are favorable to the Mechanicus. We're not going to talk politics, we're not going to get involved, we're neutral, except for, if you're worthy of the gifts of the machine god, we will provide those.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Even the Inquisition doesn't know in detail what the politics are. These are it's a very isolationist enclave. They're not like, we're engaging with the Imperium, we're playing politics. No, we're the Empire of Mars. Fuck off. Oh, by the way, do you want a new arm?
Okay. Yeah, so, Jeremiah would already know, if the weird moss thing is not some sort of corruption. I'll probably say one of the crazy doctors from Mars made it.
Who knows? It
so
might be
weird.
A bio-weapon, right?
Yeah. It's only on Battleland. It's weird. It doesn't spread to other people. Only to those affected. So yeah, makes sense for a bioweapon.
Okay. Then we have the local brand of the ecclesiarchy. They worship the emperor as a sun god. And seeing as they're the emperor's emissaries, they have this attitude of, it is our duty to be a radiant light to the lower people. So lots of gilded monuments, lots of opulent robes, very little aid to the actual people. It's more like, we shall stand on a pedestal and be admired.
Based and red-pilled.
And in terms of their interactions with, in terms of local people, they do a good job of presenting themselves as being separate from the common man and being higher than them. So they do have an effect of keeping rebellions in line to an extent. In terms of the nobility, there is a lot of how shall I put this? A lot of, you're a man of faith, the church needs a new gilded ceiling. There's a lot of voluntary donations going on, if you know what I mean.
I'm keeping the nobles in line, as it's the job of the church.
Now, the imperial nobility, such as it is, they're getting fucked by both sides, and there's a deep resentment here, because first off, they have to keep the ecclesiarchy happy. On the other hand, the governor has a Versailles thing going on, right? Where you have to rent apartments in the Dawn Citadel, you have to be present at court, you have to participate in all the shit, and if you don't, then your family's mine, which is your only source of income, gets reassigned to someone else, because clearly you are incompetent if you can't get enough income to be present at court out of it, and it might as well go to a better family. So it's, that sort of thing where the nobility is present, And they are the ones who are the ones managing the mines, except for the few Mechanicum facilities. Like here, it's not that you control like land rights and farming rights, like in traditional earth feudalism. No, you control mining rights. And yeah, if you want to keep those mining rights, you you better keep the ecclesiarchy and the planetary governor happy. Now, the planetary governor, I haven't actually written this down because I forgot this one handout. But the Inquisition, like many planetary governors, there's this feeling of him getting too big for his britches. He is establishing, like his family has been establishing a very sort of centralized control of the planet, which is in itself suspicious because when shit works too well, people can get ideas, right? Like, for example, doing better on their own, like happened 1,000 years ago. He has his personal army, the Steel Guard, which are very well trained compared to the militias of the various nobles, but they are lesser in number. And in terms of true military action, they might be unprepared in the sense of actually fighting a trench war or fight like they lack heavy equipment, that sort of thing. They're used more as a fast response force and for, controlling spontaneous outbreaks of hostilities, not a determined war effort. And yeah, like he keeps the nobility in line with this Sun King sort of thing, like all favors flow from me, you have to keep me happy, you have to be at my court, and you have to like, make sure that everything is kosher. There is a fair bit of tension between him and the cult of the Radiant Emperor in the who has more authority, the king or the pope, right? And both compete for the same pool of wealth, essentially. And they even put it towards the same ends, towards grandeur and appearances to a large extent. And let's reveal the Steel Guard. And yeah, the Steel Guard kind of form another way to control the populace, not just in the direct crowd control sort of sense, but they provide an outlet for the most aggressive, most skilled individuals to better themselves, right? The training is brutal, and they don't throw people out so much as that people get killed during the training in various live fire exercises. So it's maybe a third of the recruits that are even accepted, that actually make it through, but it's all done to foster this cult of personality and this sense of elitism, where the grand planetary governor, this larger-than-life man, has lifted them up to be something a little more than what they were. And that in particular is what causes the Inquisition a problem, because it's like, okay, buddy, but like, are you sure about taking that track with your, domestic policy? Are you sure that's the message that you should be putting out there? That being said, the planetary governor is, like, the world is under control, the tides are on time, and they are even sending people off-world, even though this world does not officially have have regiments demanded from it. Like, they are voluntarily raising a couple of regiments and sending them off-world on the condition that those regiments eventually return home. And a lot of the instructors for the Steel Guard are, guard officers that have returned home. And you can see, well, there's a fair bit of distrust there. So even if the governor is loyal, like, how can you trust a guy who's doing that, right? And then, as part of the reason or as part of that, because the governor is not entirely trusted, there's 1,000 to 2,000 Arbeits force stationed here. And they do have like heavy equipment, like they have Valkyries and Chimeras for proper control, and they're making sure that things are kosher and the Steel Guard is not the only authority of law enforcement on the planet. And yeah, like nominally their Arbeits are under the overview of the planetary governor, but they're a largely autonomous group, and it's kind of an open secret to the people who pay attention to the politics that a large part of why they're here is to keep an eye on the planetary governor and his doings and just act as a sort of counterbalance to keep him in check so he doesn't develop like a truly monolithic control over the local politics. And that's more or less the general shape of the situation in the capital region.
Okay. Can you put a handout for all of us to use on their characters? I want to write on Old Man Jeremiah's view what the fuck is happening in this place.
Yes, and this is just an overview. You can ask questions about details as well. I will add you a clues handout and I'll add you an inventory handout.
Still, on his personal experience and basic rationale on this situation, the nobility are for sure going to start codes with the ruinous powers, because they're getting fucked by both sides, and when you're getting fucked by both sides, you start to be a degenerate. The governor for sure.
You assume they have money left over for Slaneshi shit bacon.
No, that's why I worry more. They don't have money to Slanesh it, so they are on Timor, probably the other three. I'm between green and blue here, but he doesn't know that much. He just knows probably on code.
Yeah, and then you have the ecclesiarchy who are full decadence, just like everything's kosher for us. And you have the planetary governor who is like,
Yeah, he's too competent, so that's also worrying, but not worrying on and it's probably not dealing with demons, it's too smart for that. It's just going to try to secede at some point or something. I don't care. Not my job.
And as long as the tithes go paid, the Imperium considers a world to be in order. And honestly, the way the Imperium works, okay, this family sometimes might, you need to keep them in line, but that's a lot of worlds, and if this governor is problematic, we'll wait 300 years for the next one. It's not a big deal. As long as the tithe goes paid, of course. So, thoughts, questions, elaborations. Do you need more pieces filled in somewhere?
I can't think of anything I'm writing.
Naxi, Dan?
Not yet. Maybe when we get more mission details.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, when we start rolling in that and finding the details.
Okay. Is there anything else I need to add in? Yes. So, you are aware of... you would be introduced as a group to the... essentially 3 higher-ranking acolytes of the Inquisitor. There is Otto, who is a overweight, soft little boy well, he's 1.8 meters, so he's not that short. He's middle height, but he's a soft boy. You know, you can see from the picture, and he just radiates nerd energy. You have Jock Halfbjorn, who is 2.1 meters of height. He is a fucking giant, and he always has with him a power sword the Inquisitor has granted him, and he radiates the opposite. He radiates, I kill people for so I get to eat kind of energy. And then we have Mauger, who is, well, he's not quite as short as Stubbs, but he's a very slender man, and he's always going around in ecclesiarchy robes, and he has that well-practiced charisma of someone who has, you know, gotten up on a pulpit and whipped a crowd into a frenzy. And largely, you will be either helping these three in whatever they need accomplished, or you are gonna be using them as your primary contacts. And the idea, as far as the Inquisitor is concerned, is that you should always have a way to contact at least one of these. And they're the ones who are gonna be able to get in contact with him, just in case, you know, someone tries some counter-espionage bullshit and you get captured, and, you know, just like a degree of separation. Like, they are his trusted agents, and you know, they'll be managing things. Otto is gonna be focusing on research for obvious reasons, and he might need help infiltrating, stealing shit, you know, what you might expect. And Mauger is going to go in to you know, try and infiltrate the local ecclesiarchy. You know, he doesn't know whether he's going to pretend to be one of them or not yet, but he might come in as an off-world guy, like, I heard about the glorious work you're doing here and I've come to join you. And then Jock is, well, when things need murdering, he's your guy, and he's going to be largely focusing on the scavenger class, because they're a violent lot. If you're good at killing people, infiltrating them is not, or at least presenting yourself as part of that group, is not that difficult, right? And he certainly has that presence. In terms of specific missions, we are going to go into that next week when we play properly, but you can discuss as a group, in character and out of character, and you can certainly present your opinion of where you would be the most useful. The first instinct for, you know, the Inquisitor is, well, you're an infiltration and abduction group. Like, you track a target, you grab them, you do what needs to be done, you get into places, that sort of thing.
Sounds good to me, at least.
If that's where the Emperor needs me.
I will try to do something very advanced with the handout. I think that's how we make it. Hmm. Let's see if it works.
And yeah, Otto is going to he's going to be
Yes.
on research, but he's going to try and find a position in the local administratum where he can have a cover identity that way. And maybe he can find some information out there. $60-hour jobs, like I think the X's noble background is showing. $60-hour jobs, like living like the fucking leisure class. Okay, and also consider whether you have any questions you have for the Inquisitor himself.
Yeah, my question would just be, which group does he want us to try to learn about and infiltrate first?
Your first mission actually is going to be to establish cover identities in the city in general. Like, your job isn't to infiltrate any major group. You're gonna be that's the job primarily of the more experienced agents. You're gonna be helping them when they need like assets that aren't tied to them in any visible way to either grab someone or accomplish something. What you need is to establish identities that are plausible, stand up to at least a bit of scrutiny, and allow you to get away on relatively short notice to do jobs for your real master. So
All
establish yourself in the city and blend the fuck in.
Alright, so we have to create a trade firm. We have a trade firm, we have Old Man Jeremiah the trader, Severus Kane the main guard of the firm. What is her practical skills besides killing things?
You mean besides? I can try.
So you're the scavenger. Enjoy the red moss.
I mean, she can be the pretty face of the firm. It's better than two bald men.
When she looks at you fanatically wondering if you're heretical enough to kill, it's probably gonna put people off of buying stuff.
But actually, no, that's some good drive. Yeah, we have someone for transportation.
One negative, though, is that people expect a shop to be open pretty much every day.
But we're not doing a shop. We're doing.
You want to be like the middle part, right? Like buying from scavengers, selling to shops.
Yeah, a trade firm. We do contracts for people. We secure deals for them. No, we can do a job for you to stay. We are already under contract for this other gentleman that want to keep his identity a secret. Probably a noble. We don't know much. That sort of thing.
Okay. One downside if you're... So you're hired workers, essentially. Like, you're contract workers. That's what you want to establish.
Yeah, I want to create a subcontract company that deals with trade.
So, like, you get hired by either a merchant house or that's like, acquire 10 plasma guns of poor quality. That sort of thing.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That is probably doable. Do you guys have any knowledges in your group along the lines of bureaucracy, judgment, the legal side of it, or is that it just trade?
I only
have
really
trade.
know about extra legal judgment.
Yeah, that's what. That's the interacting with scavengers part, Nyaxi.
Well, I only have trade the merchant. I know about of the ruinous powers. I think that counts as bureaucracy, right?
If you know about the warp, you don't even know about necessarily ruinous powers. You just know there's horrible shit in the warp. Although, like no,
Yeah, I don't have demonology, I have warp.
yeah, you know there's horrible predators in there that prey on people, but like it's preached to the masses that warp bad. So like you just know more about just how bad it is.
Yeah, I know its effects on psychers and a bit of travel and why it happens and how it happens.
So like okay, so like a middle thing like so
I can read very well.
no, that's good. That's good. I think the Inquisitor will approve and suggest that you position yourselves as procurers. And you might, if you do well enough at that, get some interesting requests eventually, which might offer clues. And yeah, he's gonna prove discover identity. And he's gonna provide the funds to rent a workspace in the like middle part of the city. That's not quite the docks.
Okay.
So you're gonna have a shop, a space over the shop for where you can sleep, an actual safe house, and the emergency backup safe house. And he's gonna also suggest that anything that doesn't fit in the procurer role, like any advanced equipment that you might end up acquiring or stealing or otherwise coming across, that you know, do not surrender to him. Be always kept in the safe houses unless you're on a mission that requires it. For
Right.
obvious reasons. But yes, he approves of Discover Identity, and it makes you easy to contact via a runner with a coded message or anything of the kind when you are needed. He will also inform you that during his extensive experience, he has acquired a great deal of skill with medical equipment, and that should you be badly damaged, especially in a way that cannot be seen to by ordinary doctors for fear of breaking the masquerade, you should get in contact with him, and he will see to it.
Oh, we don't need that much because I am the doctor.
Speaking of that, Jeremiah, do not use psychic powers unless in an absolute emergency.
Yes. If someone is dying, I will use psychic powers.
Jeremiah,
If we
I
are
cannot stress this enough that our targets will likely have access to witches and psychers of their own. We do not want your presence to be detected.
I'll only use in extreme cases. Do not worry.
Yeah, you can see the eye twitch of just like the pure inquisitorial paranoia already starting. But yes, in emergency, you can pass a message to get in contact with him, and you can gain access to medical care that will likely save you. And out of character, like out of character, way out of character. like if you do lose limbs in this particular inquisitorial retinue, that is not a permanent thing. These can be regenerated.
No,
Yes,
regenerating
I
is
know
not.
you wanted to become like a horrible amalgamation. Well, if there are witnesses that see you losing a limb, you're gonna be without that limb for the mission because, you know, the masquerade, you have to maintain cover.
I just wanted a robot limb. They're so cool.
Oh, if you want to replace them, that's fine.
No, I don't have the money for that.
Well, that's a you problem. Maybe you can only maybe you can only afford a bootleg tech priest and you get like a metallic like peg leg. But yeah, no, like that's your first priority. Establish cover identities.
Yeah. We are a bit fucked on that department, because I don't think we have very talky people in general.
The book says that you can lie to people just fine. It's when you're trying to change their minds while lying, like essentially genuinely con them, or when they're actively trying to catch you in a lie that you need to deceive.
No, it's not even for that, it's just in general. Like, I have average fellowship, but I'm Voidborn. People just look at me and, oh, he's from a ship, he looks weird, I don't want to talk with him.
Yes, that is actually true. But actually, Dan, does Battlefleet remove that for you? Are you functionally able to interact with people? Are you still fucked?
I should be able to. I
I
mean,
don't.
apart from
You
being
have
small, right?
the. It's the EU Omened, the name of the trait that you
I
get.
think Ill Omen gets removed for Battlefleet Voidborn.
Okay, that's good.
And Arbitrators are a half-talky class.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Like, looking at this sheet, like, Dan is already on 2 points of inquiry.
Okay, that's perfect.
So, you do have someone that can do a bit of the talky stuff. Though you need someone with inquiry to find all the cool guns in the city. And yes, the extra plus then on finding guns is because of the large amount of scavengers and the grey market arms trade. And I will say that because of the way this works, even guns that would not, some of the guns that would not normally be available, like Mechanicus weaponry, are potentially available here because, you know, the Mechanicus were part of the war. That shit sometimes gets scavenged. Okay, anything else?
Yeah. It's everything. I did my notes already.
What kind of weaponry do you have? It's mostly like, oh well, Old Man Jeremiah has a last pistol. That's very good for ammo.
And a sword.
And a sword. And Nexi, you went mostly melee.
Yep, I have a monosword and a shotgun.
Shotguns are. Do we want to change any rules for how guns work? I think if we're going with high-powered guns like shotguns getting the extra shots, accuracy not being debuffed in any way, we should also buff the plasma pistols because they don't have maximal in this version and they can only fire every other round, which is retarded. And obviously in the book bolt weapons don't have daring, but that got errated into being a thing. Alternatively, we can debuff guns. We can keep plasma pistols the way they are. Then bolt weapons become extremely useful with daring. And we can reduce accurate and the scatter on shotgun to instead provide like a flat damage bonus of like +2 to the shot. Which is still useful, but it makes combat a little less swingy and more survivable.
Well, we have to remember that the actual accurate on the book is not the thing that you get extra shots.
It's errated.
It's errated.
Basic weapons that are accurate get a extra damage
That's so
dice.
disgusting.
Yeah, no, it is a thing in this version. I double checked.
Sad. Just rolling more dice gets complicated.
Like it's like we need to figure this out because two of you have shotguns, and this significantly changes just how deadly shotguns are.
Yeah, because scatter is really good.
Yeah, no, scatter is fucking horrifyingly good. It's only in point blank, but so it's not that bad. But at the same time, it's really
Oh yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah. Okay. But I guess it's fair because the whole objective of Dark Heresy and the 100 systems in general is to be short and deadly, not for us to go on power trip like we did on Dark Heresy 2 with Rogue Trader,
Yeah.
where semi-godlike fighting monsters and etc.
So, depending on how this goes, like, I have enough material, like, planned out, not on this planet, but in general, like, where I would take the story, for maybe 3 or 4 arcs. So, like, we could turn this into a long-term campaign if this goes well. And I want to mention from the start, like, I will be giving you 1 to 2 extra fate point max per arc, but I will limit you to a total maximum of 5 fate points that you can have. So it doesn't get insane at some point. And the same is going to be true for, like, named special NPCs. The Inquisitor, he has his 5. That's it. Like, that's the absolute maximum you can get.
No, that's completely fair, and considering, like, we are not with, like, thousands of XP and overpowered equipment, we are going to need to burn some fate powers sometimes to survive. So yeah, I guess it's completely fair. I doubt we even get to 5.
Well, you won't this arc, because like I said, max of 2 per
No,
arc,
yeah,
but...
even like at the long of the entire game, I would doubt that we ever going to get at 5. We're going to probably float around 3 or 4.
Yeah, and like, if you keep dying enough that you are completely fucked on fate points, then like, maybe you need to try a new character anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have your basic stuff, but you haven't proven yourselves at all yet. But the Inquisitor will tell you that, like, other than helping you rent a place, he is not gonna give you extra cash, but he will provide you with ammo if you start to run low. Because, you know, that's just reasonable. Other than that, you get your monthly allowance and...
I had a 120.
Yeah, feel free to buy anything you want from the scavengers. You know, maybe report if you find weird Xenotech or whatever, but like any human stuff, feel free to buy and use. And in terms of XP, I'm thinking like, I guess this is a question. If we were set on running this as a single, like a single campaign rather than returning to this, I would say that we should go with 300 XP. But the book suggests 200, and I think that's better for a longer term campaign.
Yeah, 200 is a decent amount, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you can get a basic thing more than once every session, but and it gives enough for I want to plan for something a bit more expensive. You need 2 or 3 sessions.
Maybe I'll throw an extra 100 in once in a while if you do something truly, exceptional.
Hmm.
But yeah, in terms of the tone of the campaign, I want to make it clear that at least for this arc, right? Like, you're gonna be largely on side jobs. Like, you are helping get the MacGuffin, namely the Inquisitor, to the target. Like, you're clearing the path. So you're gonna be facing a lot of horrible shit, but at the same time, this isn't meant to lead up to a grand showdown between you personally and the big bad as such. And
Perfect, because if there was a big showdown, we would be completely fucked.
mm-hmm. And yeah, the vibe I want to go for with this is I want to go more for immersion than like a grand heroic adventure, right? Which is why I made the effort of actually writing out some handouts and generating cute pictures for them.
Okay, yeah. That's fine. I think it is a better tone. Like the 2 ways I think that really fit Dark Heresy. It's either you're doing menial jobs and slowly getting to more fucked up shit, or I think it's a more base approach, but it's a bit unstable for campaigns. Is
What
you're
that big did?
incompetent. Somewhat, he did wrong. He was still more in line with the heroing thing because we got overpowered very fast, allowing us to get some random bullshit. At least my tech priest was very OP.
Yeah, no,
But
those Carnodons were fucking insanely OP.
what he was trying to do, you are someone incompetent, but somehow you have to deal with a big problem that you can't really deal with it, and you're probably going to fail. And that's the moral of the story.
Bacon, I'm be real. You have looked at the stats for the generic NPCs in the book briefly. You're a cut above the rest already with your starting stats.
Yeah, but the generic scrubs throw in a bloodletter and we're all fucked. That's kind of always trying to punch up, but we can't handle it.
Okay, but yeah, that's the plan. There'll probably be something fucked up that you'll have to face throughout this, but at an appropriate moment. The Inquisitor will hand you out before you land your Acolyte rosettes, your identification badges with the usual stuff. And of course, they're going to be heavily encrypted so people can't just read the name of your master. That's going to be part of the redacted part of it. And in an absolute mission critical emergency, you may use identification. But remember, secrecy is paramount. Wow, Dan. Just wow. And yeah. He will also suggest that one of your earlier priorities should be to, if possible, of course, get like a junker car or something that blends in and allows you for transportation, because there's a great likelihood that your missions will take you out of the city. Now, this is not like, if you are unable to procure one, arrangements will be made, but it would make it easier if you acquired one sooner rather than later. And yeah, if you get arrested, try and pass word to one of the other agents. Only use the rosette as a last resort, or if you have like no way to contact the others, like it essentially with authorities, he very strongly suggests that your mode of operation would be to dump the rosette in a dumpster, ask for your personal priest to take your confession, or a priest that you've heard about, namely this guy over here, before you're executed, and he will attempt to arrange for extraction. But yeah, there's a strong vibe of it would really, really, really suck if the information that we're around would seep into the power structures. That would be very good to avoid. We are here undercover. And yeah, like, he doesn't trust you with target he's hunting, but you can see that there is a degree of trust there. Like, he's entrusting you with identification and, you know, counting on you not to completely fuck up and hurt the mission. Any other details? Like, there would be information available, like the biggest merchant houses, the various locations in the Dawn Citadel, that sort of thing. Like, you have maps, you have papers, like the detailed briefings again. Best to keep them in a safe house. Actually, something you can decide on. Like, where would your safe house be located and what form would it take? Like, what does your safe house look like, the one you're actually using? And keep in mind, this is not something that's necessarily on your wealth level. This is something that the Inquisition has prepared in advance, and he has gained the use of from, like, the Ordo. So, like, essentially it can be anything. It can be like a secret level, like basement level section in the spaceport. It can be like something that can be only accessed by diving underwater in the docks and coming up into a cistern which has been turned into a living space. You can go wild. To an extent, anyway.
I think the coolest thing is secret passage on the like underground of the like middle of the city. A very well connected, like close to a important transit hub. To the side, you go down one of the holes in the ground that leads to a sewer system. You move to the right and to the left. You press like on a brick in the wall, and it opens a secret door further ahead, something like that.
Okay, so there's like a section of the city's underground communications that has sort of been excavated, and it has like I'm gonna say that one thing that opens in like the catacomb level of a cathedral that's open to the public during the day. You have another thing that leads you towards the tunnels where you have some of the blood-blighted occasionally sleeping in that can come up, closer to the docks. That sort of thing, just like an intersection of many areas where you can sort of come up in many different ones. We're going to say that there's like a sort of like a cliff faces that's been incorporated into the city. At the bottom of it are docks. At the top you have the more wealthy sections, and it's like built into that cliff face that your safe house is. And I think that's reasonable. It offers you many ways to get in and out. And he will give you like a one-use data card to make like the servitors in the doors recognize you, and after that you're going to have two passwords essentially. You're going to have the safe password, which gets the servitor to open the door, and then you have the oh shit password, which is something is horribly wrong, send alarm signal and open the door. And we're going to say, since this is a safecaster, there's like probably like it's not a voice, like it's not like a vox caster, but it's a caster that has like a keyboard and a paper printout. That's like a hardwired landline that you don't know where it goes. And it's going to be one of the main ways that you're going to be communicated with when you're needed. And once you have ciphers and acolyte languages, some of the higher ranking acolytes have levels in acolyte language, so we're going to say that as part of that, they will know your cell's individual codes once you take the effort to learn them. So you'll have a secure way to communicate with your superiors. And that's how we're going to arrange that. I'm so glad, Dan, that you're getting a chance to nap. I can see how tired you are.
Well, I'm still awake, but I am listening out for the kid. He'll be awake in about an hour or so.
Mm-hmm. I think we're gonna be wrapped up with the prep stuff by then. Yeah, I think that this is like a hidden part of the communication. It's not a huge safe house, right? There's like a sleeping room and a probably like a living room that's a bit of everything. There's like a small kitchen station. There's like a gun rack, a pair of storage cabinets for evidence and various crap you bring back. That sort of thing. Just in case there's this one safe that is roughly the size of a book where you can chain a single book shut so that no accidents happen.
Fair.
But yeah, like there's basics. Like there isn't a full armory station, but there are things like cloths and gun oils, and like the place might not have been entered for a couple of months, but it is clear that someone maintains it at least like annually. Make sure that it's stocked, and I'm gonna say that there's like a week worth of food in there as well too. Stuff that really keeps for emergencies.
Most important thing is that it's well placed and secret.
Yeah. And for your backup safe house, we're gonna say that it's like a probably an inn where you're supposed to give like the bartender a code that the moon is a terrible mistress. And he will, like, then you sit down, take for a drink. Eventually he should pass you a note or a message of where to go from there and lead you to safety. So it's like a bug out route. Just in case things go really wrong and your safe house is compromised or you can't make to it and you're being followed, that sort of thing. Essentially, you have access to a low-level sleeper agent with one job. We will buy you this bar, and someday, and this day may never come, you might be called upon to do a favor for us. Yeah, and if you use the bug out thing, then that's an automatic oh shit signal, like it bounces that coded message through channels, which the Inquisitor should in theory eventually be able to pick up and realize that you're in trouble and do something about it. Any other arrangements we need to make? We can't hear you, Dan, if you're speaking, but it looks like you're counting off the things that seem important.
Yeah, just making a mental notes. Seems like I can't think of anything.
I think that's everything. I just have an out of character thing to say. Now that you are very well dedicated in making handouts, you need to do the next level and do handout links like I did on the handout.
Now, what do you mean? Oh, like, so that handouts are linked between each other?
Yes.
Oh, so Blood Blight connects to the that handout.
The moss.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the place, etc. It's a chat thing to do. Makes navigating, if you are going to release, adding things as you go, so we can better find them even more if you start adding extra folders to separate the stuff. I don't have any more questions or things to demand.
No one does not demand things of the Inquisition, Psyker.
Yes, that's right, you just demand from the warp. Sorry, Inquisitor.
Okay, so we're keeping the guns on the powerful end then, right?
Yeah, I'm not against them.
Okay, so
Yes.
plasma pistols are gonna have the maximal option. Do we want them to be... I saw in one of the Mechanicus books an example of plasma pistol where instead of 2d10 plus 6, it was 1d10 plus 10 instead of 6 for maximal. Do we want to go with that version, just up the flat damage, or do you want to keep the up the damage dice, like the randomness factor?
I think 1 to 10 is fair because most of the things do 1 to 10.
So up to 2d10 on maximal, just keep it really swingy.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, let's go with the Dark Heresy 2 version of Plasma. So keep in mind Plasma that has that and bolt guns have daring.
Okay. Oh, it's not like we're going to get a plasma or bolt gun soon.
Poor quality might be easy, relatively easy to get.
But
well,
do any of us know how...
But it's even...
Money
it's
and knowing how to use.
Knowing how to use is the bitch, but like 1/3
Yeah.
cost, I think, for poor quality, so it's like, or 1/2, so it's not that bad.
I know, probably still more than 1 month of my wage. That's like buying an iPhone.
Well, yes, you don't have the latest bolt pistol? What the fuck are you? Yeah, bolt pistols are 1d10 plus 5 with a pen of 4 with daring. So it's pretty good. They cost 250. And 4 is 1/2 step. Or 1/2 cost. So 125 for poor quality bolt gun. Or bolt pistol. What's the rarity? Rare. So everything is effectively one more step available here. So 1d5 months would be for... No, 1d10 weeks for rare. If you wanted a... Yeah, you can find a bolt pistol of poor quality within 1d10 days in a city of this size. And it will be actually like a flat inquiry roll to find one. Due to how many guns are... Actually, let me check. Actually, it might be even easier than that. Hold on. 100,000 or more. Scarce would be an ordinary plus 10 check normally to get. But that goes to routine. It's a plus 20 inquiry check to find a poor quality bolt pistol in 1d10 days. This place is just swimming in guns, especially poor quality stuff. It's a whole business to get poor quality weapons or broken weapons and get them to a slightly better condition and resell them. But okay. Anything else? You did not pick a personal astropath choir for the Inquisitors, so no way to contact Oakworld unless you go to either sneak aboard the ship or, you know, go to the noble quarter where the astropath spire is.
Now we don't need to communicate off-world. We can deal with things here on our own, alone, surrounded by enemies.
In terms of how populated this world is, it's not unpopulated, but it's not densely populated, especially by Imperium standards. I was thinking population somewhere between 500 million and billion worldwide. So there's settlements, there's places that are extremely urbanized like this capital, but for the most part there's also large swaths of unpopulated land. This is the most populated continent because this is where all the mines are.
That's a fair population. It's like up to one China.
The China compliance. But yeah, like equipment is not going to be difficult to find here. Like that is actually reasonable, and you do have a credit line from an investor and a contract that you can present that you know, authorizes you to start a business with someone else's money. And you know, it's a credit line that essentially allows you to pay the basic upkeep for space and basic tools you might need. So since your procurers, like, you don't have an armorer, your not gonna have an armorer station, but you will have like everything needed to just like do basic maintenance on weapons in your shop as well for cover, essentially. Honestly, you probably also have like a, ferrocrete wall with a set of targets you can place on it for testing weapons to see if they fire. So you have a place to practice should you need to acquire new weapon training. And the basic stuff for basic bitch business as part of your cover will be provided. As well as the basic paperwork to, actually, why don't you write down how well he does? We're gonna have Otto roll to see how well he does on this. Trade copyist isn't very good for this. SL bureaucracy, I think, is what we want. And this sounds like I think this sounds like a routine, namely +20 roll. I think that's fair. Routine sounds about the right description. So please note that your cover paperwork is with 3 extra degrees of success in case for some reason you need to rely on it on someone and someone's scrutinizing it. And we'll try and keep track of things like at least the important roles for your cover identity. Just in case. Okay. Anything else?
Just muted. No. I just want to say if anyone can think in a better way to organize the inventory handout, I'm just writing things and it looks a bit eh.
We'll probably work for now. Not sure on the spot what would be a good idea.
Maybe organize it a bit more like the clues thing with separate paragraphs for these things. You can write like basic entries like guns, etc. in single lines, but these are things with actual descriptions to them, so you might want to spread them out a bit more. And make a note that your secondary safe house / escape route is a bar in the docks with a password you're supposed to give to the bartender.
Okay. It's organized, but then actually I can do this and I can put on this like a header tree. Nice. Yeah, that would be better.
Okay, I think that's everything though. At least I'm having trouble thinking of any other details we... Like, we could do an in-character discussion among the characters, but I think that's best done when we are actually in the first
Ready to
session proper.
Yeah.
Just not separate it out like that, and yeah. You're probably gonna have a few weeks where you establish your covers. Like on Vaccinite, like the Inquisitor already knew exactly where he was going. Here he has probably no idea where the target specifically is other than somewhere on this planet. So you need to establish and hunt the fucker properly. Or maybe because of how quickly he went about it, the fucker escaped in some way. So now he wants to make damn sure he gets him. And either way, you're likely to have a few weeks while everyone, including you, establishes their cover.
Right.
Which means you're gonna be halfway to your first payday.
Yeah.
That's very good. I need my $70.
That's almost a box of grenades.
I'm going to buy a laser sight for my pistol.
And red dot, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I also have some stuff that I want to buy once we get money.
4 hot shotguns in the Inquisitor's Handbook. By the way, this is an important note I wanted to mention because some of you have less. They can be run with normal charge packs. They just drain them 4 shots at a time. So you don't need the backpack power pack. And those are like 1d10 plus 4 with actual pen, something like that. Actually, I can check. Yep. Pistol is plus 3, Hellgun is plus 4, and they have pen 3. So for a laser weapon, that's very good. Nice and powerful. Now the real question is, are you brave enough to fire bolt shells that have been dug up from the ground after 1,000 years in said ground? Leith knows that if the God Emperor wills her not to explode, she won't explode.
Yeah, but the God Emperor also wants to use melee weapons.
Glorious melee, that's true. That is something I did not specifically mention separately, but the nobility do, like it's in the handout, the nobility have this tradition where duels of honor are fought in full plate armor and with primitive weapons, no mono, no power, no nothing, just like smacking each other with swords, with nice low chances of anyone, permanently dying, but it's all very chivalrous and in the traditions of glorious melee, of course. Yeah, Bacon, as I was saying, Duels of Honor, it was in the handout, I did not mention it out loud. Fought in full plate armor with non-scienced up weapons. Just long swords and full plate at dawn.
Wait, who?
The nobles. That's how they fight their Duels of Honor.
Okay. That's the proper way, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It's a glorious melee kind of thing. And also it has the nice side effect of not many of the nobles dying, because full plate and long swords takes a damn long time, so you can always yield before you're dead.
Well,
Until you hit Righteous Fury and you got someone, of course.
no, I'm pretty sure that a full plate is primitive, so if one of them has a mono longsword...
That would be dishonorable. You're not allowed to sign up the blades.
Yeah, but the others don't
Like,
need to
I'm
know.
not saying it doesn't ever happen, but like the seconds are supposed to check that they're proper dueling longswords without monofilament edges or, bullshit.
I'm just thinking one we have to duel with a noble. And how I'm going to use my psychic powers to last moment change the longsword without him noticing for a mono one.
I mean, that scam could work, especially if you change it back afterwards. Or you could just have a specially made mono longsword, where the mono upgrade is not like a monofilament edge. You turn it into a vibro sword, right? Where you have a generator in the handle which you turn on.
Yeah, I think that would be a bit noticeable.
Honestly, a lot of the time they probably have like the seconds bring two identical longswords and whoever is the challenged picks one. So it's kind of random. But you are supposed to provide your own dueling plate, which is expensive. And that's the part that keeps the commoners from being able to challenge nobles. Because if you don't have a dueling plate, how would you fight? And if you lose the duel, you're supposed to surrender the dueling plate to the victor.
Yeah, that's actually how much?
It's a couple of hundred, I think. Maybe
Feudal
6.
plate, 120.
Okay, so it's not that bad if it's a normal quality one, but it's still like it still stings if you lose it, right? And like
I mean, I need to work for 2 months to pay it, and I have a high-paying job.
And you're a psyker, yeah, so you're rich. So like most people won't be able to challenge even the minor nobility. Just financially. And a proper dueling plate, it has its best quality, it has your house's sigil just sort of enameled into it. As you do. But yeah, that's how the nobles handle things like gentlemen. None of this pistols at dawn bullshit. No, you use the holy metal smelted from the planet's core to make a proper iron suit and sword. Again, that's that 70 that you make. That's without having to pay for your own food or housing or anything. Yeah. That's just your income in pure form. So it's even.
Is that already counting taxes or not?
That is not, like, you don't have, like, the taxes are paid for you because your income, right? It is coming from the business which your investor helped you found and paying your salary. So, like, the Inquisitor's retinue will arrange the paperwork and the tax payments, everything for you, right?
Okay.
So it's like,
Yeah, I don't want to pay income taxes in the 41st millennium. That would suck.
Meanwhile, miners in the mines are like, you get income. Okay, but you're like all middling on the pay scale. You're like 70 and 120, right?
Yeah, doesn't Dan get a lot of money as an Arbeits, or is that
He's
not the case?
Towards the middle as well, actually. It's the clerics that get paid a lot.
But the real good move is when you choose to be noble born and you are automatically put onto the noble pay scale by your birth roll.
That is bullshit. Does the Inquisitor book actually say that that happens?
Yes, that's exactly what
That's the advantage?
That is one of the advantages, yeah.
What the fuck?
Wait, let me crank it open again.
You know, if you
close
are
it
a real
down.
procurement business, you will sell other scavengers' guns on the market.
Yeah, you begin play with double the starting number of thrones. You're also noble for the purpose of determining monthly income.
So what you need to do is pay scum, which gets shit all income, and be noble born to min-max.
Yeah, exactly.
That is cursed. What's the point of even playing a cleric then?
You can be a noble-born cleric to be even richer.
Yeah, but then you're not min-maxing the extra money you gain.
But you min-max the starting money.
That's true. I think when we played with Epic, he gave us like 3 months income on top of the starting throne, so I was like ridiculously rich at the start. I came in loaded down with flame shells and shit and a combat shotgun.
Sadly, you can't be a noble-born psyker.
Wow, nobles don't send their psychers to terror, you heard it here first.
Yep.
Freaking disgusting.
Neither you can be attack priest.
Well, that one kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Fatigue reduction. If you're out, well, if you're gonna go out among the scavengers, then trekking across land might be a thing, and that might be hella useful if someone does shit on their toughness rolls. Yeah, this is a non-bad set of powers. I think it's what, Psi rating 3 that you first get a discipline?
I don't remember.
I think it was
I think
3.
so. Yeah. Yeah, it took support powers and the cow item because it's funny.
Jackalosh started with fucking fear because of course he did the most OP shit. But Jaded is just mortal fear. Naxi, right?
Yeah, it's normal stuff. It's not demons or anything like that. It's just if you see Plato,
But
the
that's
grisly murder scene, you're not affected.
but that's not stuff like pinning or suppression. That's just
Yeah, you still suffer from pinning and stuff like that. Of course, there's other talents to be like better at that. Jaded just means, let me see. I think I put a page number on my thingy.
I
not
vaguely
for Jaded.
remember it, but it's like, you know.
I think Jaded is only for the purpose of fear tests for mundane stuff.
That's actually something we didn't do. Do you guys want to briefly discuss what your characters are especially good at? We've touched upon some of it, but we haven't gone through it. Like, I know, but I just realized that you guys don't necessarily know about each other.
True.
Well, we learn through the game. That's how it works, right?
You have had like a month in transit to get to know each other and what you can do.
Yeah, but why would I want to talk with them?
Because the Inquisitor told you to get good at working as a team.
Well, but one is a manlet and the other looks like it wants to kill me.
Yeah, and you're a fucking psyker. You're all shit. Get used to it.
Nah.
Like, you don't even know out of character is the thing.
Yeah, I mean, mine is easy. I'm a psyker. I have 8 out of awareness, forbidden or warp, and for some reason 37 weapon skill. That's it.
20 fucking strength.
He's old, man.
You will need to keep track of the weight as well, by the way, because
Yes, it's on the last line of my gear.
yes. Okay, so that's what you can do. Nyaxi, describe murder, please.
I can dispatch enemies with a sword, or if need be, I can use a shotgun. I can drive a car very well. I can dodge. I can move silently. I can lie badly. I can intimidate. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. I have like survival as a basic skill, so I'm not completely oblivious to living a rough life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Dan, what about you? What is Stubbs good at?
Well, apparently he's good at got 2 in an inquiry, got 1 in scrutiny, and he can also drive as well.
Okay.
And he has the shotguns in that.
Stub automatic, you have it a little wrong. So it's not plus 41 and plus 31, it's plus 4 and plus 3 with type impact. That's just how the book writes it. Like next to damage, they put a single letter to denote what type of damage it is a lot of the time. So you put the damage type in the type box.
Okay.
And for a shotgun, you have a clip of 2 D12, like the 10 extra shells or 12 extra shells are in your gear, or should be. Actually, I'm gonna check what inventory you start with in general, just to make sure that you get all those melee options.
I also bought some extra stub rounds as well.
Yes, make sure that you note them in the gear section and any leftover money. And consider, instead of, like, you don't have to buy just purely normal rounds, right? Because 5 rounds will get you man-stopper bullets, which have a penetration of 3. So you could buy like a couple of rounds of armor-piercing bullets. Throne, Gelt, and Income are like the next things down there. Just under gear, there's special boxes for those. And like the Steam and all. Oh, you have. Right, that's copied in there. Yeah, just make sure that you put the entries in the gear section. And the stub automatic, it has the ability to fire up to 3 as semi-automatic, but it can fire 1 as, well, like this essentially. I think shotgun should be like this. Just because there are some guns that can't fire a single shot at all, you need to make a note of those that can.
Okay.
But yeah, even the things that are on your ranged weapon stuff, you need to put an entry in the gear section because we need to track weight among other things.
Yeah, here. Found it.
I see you bought Sound Constitution. Did you add that into your actual health?
Yes.
Okay, good. It's important to keep track of. You can copy past and look those up on your own. Just make sure that you do correct the damage rolls, because you doing like a greater demon's amount of damage with a basic bitch shotgun would be a little sus, and the Emperor would be, burn you from existence.
Oh, I found an error in the book that's not errated. On the Inquisitor handbook, like on the Nobleborn, it doesn't say you can be a psyker, but on the random career paths, it says you can be a psyker. So all the nobles are not heretics. They actually can have psykers and sanctioned psykers.
No. The Ordo Malleus just cleared out cleared out an entire Hab spire on Malphite, so I know what you're talking about. Purge, purge, purge. One more thing with weapons that I'm gonna change, or at least compared to how Epic always did it. Point blank, right? When you're shooting into melee. Well, actually, no, I think he did do it that way. But something to keep track of. It shouldn't be standard range. It should be short range. Even if you're in point blank, because like you can't count as in point blank if you're shooting at someone who's in melee, but you can still be within the short range. Because the short range does not exclude, like that bonus does not exclude targets that are in melee.
Alright.
Although I have a feeling that eventually this might be a degree of, okay, there's one left, I'll swarm him in melee, let's just surround him. And I will decide what first mission to send you on by next week. And I do plan for this to have like a degree of downtime. And well, actually this won't be much under your control because you go where you're sent. But this will have a degree of downtime because like this is long-term investigation. We're gonna assume that it's like partial downtime most of the time, because you're still trailing people, you're still doing minor things, you're still sneaking into places, just not major missions. It's the kind of thing you can do without rolling relatively easily. Just, scouring shit. And we'll... I think that really is everything then. Let me just take a quick look at the other guy's sheets, although I think that I'm pretty sure that Nyaxi won't have fucked up anything because you've done Dark Heresy 1 plenty before.
Yep. Just add up my throwing knives as well.
Yes, for advancements. There is a way I want you to do this. I see Leith and Jeremiah are already set up this way.
What?
You as well. What do you write an advancement, right? Write plus like scrutiny, whatever. First level, write it just scrutiny or scrutiny plus 0 is fine. But make sure that you add which level of it is further on. Like it's plus 10, plus 20, same for characteristics, plus 5, plus 10, plus 15. Like, what's the total advancement, right? So you have an idea which level you are on. So it's not like, oh, did I take my final 4th level advance at some point? And like, so.
Yeah,
so it's
I
there.
do ticks, so first level is the first star, and then second star and third star.
Write it as plus 5s, plus 10s, plus whatever's because it's.
No, I do that for like intelligence and willpower, but for skills you tick the boxes, so I know to which box I ticked. You see, I have awareness first tick.
I would prefer if everyone did it the same way, but I can get behind this, I guess, as long as you remember to do it. But yeah, like I would. It's just easier for me because I've already filled in all the NPCs under this algorithm. A lot, like I'm treating the advanced acolytes as essentially the interrogator level. They're not quite there. We can explain it as either the previous interrogators getting slaughtered and these being pressed into service, or me just not wanting to overshadow you by having a bunch of OP NPCs. They are in the at the 5k XP. The Inquisitor is roughly at 20k. I didn't count every single piece of XP because there's really no need. And
20k, it's a lot.
It is a huge fucking amount, but it's about what I would consider appropriate for an experienced Inquisitor. Especially since he's like in his second century of life, so he's been around for a while. But yeah, just to give you an idea of what the power levels are. So like, these fuckers, they're ahead of you, but they're not ahead by a huge amount, and I'll give them less XP than you for. I'll give them.
The Inquisitor played for 98 sessions.
Sounds about right to be an Inquisitor. But the way I'm gonna count this for you guys, if we play this long enough, once you complete the careers in the core book, we're gonna go into Ascension, and you're gonna be like interrogators. And once we are like a level or 2 into Ascension, that's when one of you might get ascended to Inquisitor. Well, obviously not Leith because she's a heretic, just mind wipe, but one of you two maybe.
I don't think they would put a Psyker as an Inquisitor, so yeah, stop just Inquisitor.
A lot of Inquisitors are Psychers. That's a very common thing. A very common thing. It's common in lore, it's common in the core book here, it's a thing. Like, in fact, like books about Inquisition, there's specific mention that in order to really advance in the Inquisition, you kind of need to be psychic. Because like without superpowers, you're just gonna have too rough a time, like you're handicapped.
Yes, that's fair, but considering how Psychers are, I think it's just
Well, it depends on how well you function as a Psyker. If you fuck up in major ways, then yeah, you can ruin your chances. I just say you haven't yet. Right? But at the same time, it's like 30 sessions to complete the career path, 40, right? So that's like 3-4 arcs.
complete the career is like 15,000 minus 400 divided by 200. It's like 73.
Wait, it's that much to complete it. It's like 15. I might take a look at the ascension progression thing and like narrow the amount of experience needed for some of these. Because like if it's 15,000 to get to interrogator, then it's a bit much. I'm thinking somewhere at the 8 to 10k range you might ascend to interrogator rank.
It's like parallel progressions. You just stop with the normal progression and then you take this special table.
Yeah, these are parallel. Well, where you get these separate paths is different for every class as well. That's what's so spicy about it. Because Adept has Inditer and Chirurgeon already at 2000, right? And then it goes to Scholar and then it splits again. Yeah, I think somewhere in the 8 to 10k range you might be considered like interrogator level. So these others, they're interrogator level, but they're essentially junior interrogators because at the moment things are rough, or maybe they're the ones he's willing to risk, but yeah. I think that's about right. But I do know that Ascension narrowed some of the rank requirements so you could move through the levels faster and lock the tables, more advanced tables, a bit faster. Okay, well, I think that's everything. Let's stop it here and return next week for episode 1. Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Yeah.